Today we are making churros. So what are churros? Churros are basically fried choux pastry dough that are crispy on the outside and extremely soft from the inside. Now the history of the churros is quite unclear. Some people say that Portuguese people got the idea from China and Spanish people got the idea from Portugal. And it is believed that they are from Spain and Portugal. But wherever they are from, I remember having the best churros of my life in Mexico City, and in today's video I am going to show you how to make them. So let's begin. Okay mis amigos, for making the choux pastry dough in a medium sized sauce pot, we are gonna add 450 milliliters water and about 5 inches long cinnamon stick. Then set the stove on medium-low heat and let it simmer for about 10 minutes until all the good sweet woody spicy flavors from the cinnamon stick are extracted and the water looks kind of light brownish. Then we are gonna pull the cinnamon stick out of the water and add 30 grams granulated sugar, a teaspoon salt, a teaspoon vanilla extract and 120 grams unsalted butter. Then increase the heat to medium-high, give it all a good stir until the butter is melted and the sugar and the salt are completely dissolved, and then bring this cinnamony aromatic butter liquid to a rolling boil. Once it comes to a rolling boil, we are gonna take it off of the heat immediately and add it to 350 grams all-purpose flour that I sifted in a heat-proof bowl through a fine sieve to get rid of any lumps. Then using a spatula, we are gonna start mixing vigorously until they are very well combined, pulls away from the sides of the bowl and turn into a soft dough. Once we have a soft looking dough, we are gonna cover it with a plastic wrap or a damp cloth so it doesn't form a layer and let it cool down a little for like 15 minutes. Now the next addition to the dough is going to be eggs, but it is really important to cool down the dough a little because if we add them right after mixing the dough, then they will start cooking because of the high temperature, which will give our churros an unpleasant eggy taste. Meanwhile, in a small size baking dish, we are gonna add 150 grams granulated sugar and 2.5 teaspoons ground cinnamon. Then mix well until nicely combined, and this is going to be our heavenly sweet mixture that we are gonna be using to coat our churros once they are done frying. Next, we are gonna crack 2 whole eggs in a jar, beat them together and keep aside. After 15 minutes, the dough will still be hot, but you should be able to keep your fingers on it for a few seconds, which is the perfect temperature for mixing in the eggs. So we are gonna add our beaten eggs to the dough, and then using a spatula, we are gonna start cutting and mixing them like so. In the beginning, it's gonna look like all messy and slimy and would seem like they are not gonna come together, but don't stop and keep going until the eggs are very well incorporated and a shaggy dough is formed. Once we have a shaggy dough, we are gonna continue cutting and mixing for a few more minutes until it looks shiny, becomes really smooth, and the consistency of the dough is nice and thick. You will know it's ready when it's no longer sticking to your fingers and have some good elasticity in it. Now we are gonna transfer it to a piping bag that is fitted with 1M open star shaped piping tip, which is perfect for achieving the traditional looking churros. Then give the piping bag a little shake so the dough is pushed all the way down. Then twist the top of the bag like so and squeeze a little dough just to be sure that there are no air pockets and it's piping out perfectly. Now it's time to fry our choux pastry dough. So in a heavy bottom pot, we are gonna add about 1 inch neutral tasting oil and bring the temperature to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius on a medium-high heat. I'm going to be using a candy thermometer to monitor the temperature for the best results. Now if you don't have one, then I suggest you get one because we're gonna do a lot of things on this channel where you are going to be needing this particular piece of equipment. Once the oil reaches to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, we are gonna dip a pair of kitchen shears in the oil to prevent the dough from sticking. Then squeeze out about 5 to 6 inches long dough directly into the pot. Then cut it off carefully away from our body to prevent ourselves from oil splashes and fry them for about 1.5 minutes. Also, the size of the churros don't have to be precise. You can make them longer or shorter however you like them, and fry them in small batches like 3 to 4 pieces at a time so the pot is not overcrowded and the temperature of the oil doesn't drop instantly, which can result in unevenly cooked churros. And after 1.5 minutes, we are gonna turn them over and cook for about 1.5 minutes more until they are golden brown in color. Then pull them out with a skimmer, transfer to a baking sheet that is lined up with a cooling rack to drain the excess oil, let them cool down for like 30 seconds, and then toss them in the cinnamon sugar mixture until they are nicely coated. It's really important that you toss them in the mixture while they are still warm, cause once they are cold the sugar will not stick to the churros. So don't let them sit for more than 30 seconds. Once done tossing, shake off the excess sugar and there we have our churros. Now repeat the same with the rest of the dough and make sure you are maintaining the temperature of the oil anywhere between 340 degrees to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, because the temperature higher than this will cause the churros brown really quickly on the outside and leave them raw from the inside. So keep your eyes on it. Alright, so we got our churros ready. Now we're gonna make a very simple and delicious Mexican style chocolate dipping sauce to enjoy with them. So in a small size sauce pot, we are gonna add 180 ml heavy cream, 160 grams 70% dark cacao chocolate chips, and a teaspoon vanilla extract. Then turn on the stove on a low heat and mix them constantly until the chocolate is completely melted. Then remove it from the stove and add a teaspoon espresso powder, quarter teaspoon ground cinnamon, and finally a pinch of kosher salt. Then give it all a nice mix, and that's it with our chocolate dipping sauce. Now let's pour this chocolate sauce, dip the churro in it, and eat this thing. Oh my goodness, they remind me of the churros that I had in one of the most famous churreria known as El Moro in Mexico City. They are shatteringly crispy on the outside, they are super light and have a really soft custardy interior with a decent amount of chew. The chocolate sauce is really rich, it's not too sweet and going perfectly with our sweet churros. Guys, they are absolutely delicious and my wife, who is from Mexico, totally agrees with it.
Está muy rico. Ya déjame.
Okay guys, now you know how to make good churros. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, give this video a like, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next one. Till then, bye bye.